Hello, everybody. Today is just a quick intro video to lessons 10 and 11 on code.org, talking about Boolean expressions and conditional statements. These are something that you're going to use quite a bit to make your animations and games do multiple things. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood exactly what those terms meant. And talk about just a couple of things that you're going to see in the unit that will hopefully make it a little easier for you. I'll continue to have the helpful videos for each individual level, but this is a good one to get started. So a Boolean expression basically is just a fancy name for a question that evaluates to either true or false. All right, the computer only recognizes something that's either true or false. And then a conditional statement, which you've seen in math before, is an if-then statement, which means if something happens or if something is true, then this is going to happen. All right, so there's different signs you're going to use. If something's equal to, if it's greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, you'll see all of those come up. Okay. We'll get into more of that in just a bit. So we can use if statements or conditional statements to allow our program to run differently. So let's just take a look at a couple of examples. This is actually task 2, which you'll complete on code.org, but I just wanted to kind of walk through it with you so you understood what was happening. So basically with this, it wants to know, it wants you to predict the truth values for the Boolean expressions on line 5, 6, and 7. So sprite1.y is equal to sprite2.y. We would just want to know if that's true or false. So if you look up here, sprite1's y value would be the 200. Sprite2's y value would be 200. Are they equal? Yes, so that would be true. On the second one, sprite1's x is greater than sprite2's x. Well, look up here. Sprite1's x value is 100. Sprite2's is 300. Is 100 greater than 300? No, so that would be false. So we have true, false, and finally, sprite1's x is less than sprite2's y value. Just read these carefully, and you'll see some more detailed examples later on in the lesson. But again, look at which sprite you're working with, look at which property of the sprite you're working with. It's x, y. It'll get into other things such as rotation and length and width. But all right, so for this one, sprite1's x, which is 100, is less than sprite2's y. Sprite2's y is 200. 100 is less than 200, so that's true. All right, so that's basically a Boolean expression, just something that's either true or false. The other part of this, which we'll be getting into quite a bit, are conditional statements. We'll start with basic conditional statements. If something's true, then this will happen. So commands that run a specific block of code only if something is true. All right, so if my score equals 100, then I'm going to draw the text winner on the screen. So when we create our games, we're going to use conditionals. Another example with this one, and you'll see it in the program, you have a sprite. Notice there's no animation connected to it, so it's just going to be a rectangle to start. And then if you notice, so we have our background, it's going to draw the sprite. The sprite's x value is increasing by 1, so the sprite's moving horizontally across the screen. And here's this conditional statement. So if the sprite's x value is greater than 200, so if it hits the middle of the screen, it's going to keep going, but its animation is going to change to a race car. and you'll see that come up in that task. So I do want you to watch this video. I think it's important. She explains it well. And then I'll have you work through the tasks.
My name is Felicia Williams, and I work at Facebook in augmented reality and virtual reality. Augmented reality is going to really change the way that we think about using computers, and it's a really fun place to be right now. Whether you're making an animation, an app, or a game, it's often necessary for your computer program to test a condition to see if it's true or false. To do this, we use a Boolean expression, an expression that can only evaluate to either true or false. This is similar to asking the computer a yes or no question. Let's look at 3 types of expression that we can make with comparison operators. 2 equal signs compares the values in each box and asks, are these 2 values equal to one another? The greater than sign compares 2 values and asks if the value on the left is greater than the value on the right. And finally, the less than sign compares the 2 values and asks if the value on the left is less than the value on the right. For each comparison, we will get either a true or false answer. For example, when playing a game, you may get a bonus when you reach a specific score, say 100. To know when to give the bonus, the computer will use a Boolean expression that asks, is the value stored in the variable score equal to 100? If the expression evaluates to true, then you will get a bonus. If it evaluates to false, nothing happens. We can use another comparison operator to make our game even more accurate. In this example, the bonus is only given if the player's score is exactly 100. But if the player passes 100, they should still get the bonus, right? To do this, we'll use the Boolean expression that asks, is the user score greater than 99? If this is true, then the player gets a bonus. By using Boolean expressions to ask true, false questions, you can make your animations, apps, and games even more dynamic and interactive for your users.
Okay, so just a reminder, you can find all of the information that she talked about wherever you see the diamond shape. You'll see some other items further down. I'm not going to show you the other video right now. You can watch that on your own time or on the video. I just wanted to point out in part 8 that there's other comparison operators, like I had mentioned before. Equal to, not equal to, greater than or equal to. There's all sorts of them that you can use, and it talks about it here. So if you're curious about one of those things and you want to use it, you can do that here. All right, so I'm going to let you get to it. If you have questions, you can ask me either in class or stop by my math lab. Have a great day.